Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good evening and welcome to my podcast, Fight CPS and Stop Taking Our Children. I'm Bob Pace, and I want to give you a warm welcome because you found the right place to come to learn about CPS and how to fight them and how to get your children back. You just heard from my attorney, Vincent W. Davis. He has a live podcast coming up next Saturday at 10 o'clock for questions and answers. So please put that on your calendar to attend. Also, you need to register. There's 2 links, and it plays again at the end of my podcast. So you get those links again. Now, he's the real attorney. He's the one that has 35 years of fighting CPS. He is a dependency lawyer. He's also a family and juvenile lawyer. So they all go together. Juvenile, family, dependency law all goes together. That's what you're fighting right now. And he's the real deal. He also has fought civil lawsuits against CPS, both state and federal courts, and won millions of dollars. So, he's a real fighter. He's a pit bull. He's also a trial attorney. And I want to give many thanks to Mr. Davis for making these podcasts possible and for what he does. He does a lot of volunteer time, and he's really good. Now, if you want to reach him and retain him, his number's right there on the screen, 888-888-6582. You call the law office, and you tell them that Bob Pace sent you and that you want to retain Mr. Davis as your attorney. There are other ways that you'll be able to talk to him, too, that I'll talk about in a few minutes. So I'm a family man. I have 42 years of marriage, so I have a lot of experience with marriages. I have 6 children, 3 older ones and 3 younger ones. And I love my children. I love my wife. And it's been a long road we've been fighting CPS for 15 years. And 3 of it was actively. Before that was 5 years of hearsay by false lay people that were sitting there saying complaints. And that was really, really, really hard. Now, I hope you guys can hear me a little bit. Hold on a second. Okay, yeah, I'm broadcasting from my home. And it's not necessarily the best place, but it's the best place that I have. And I live in Surf City, USA, 3 blocks from the beach. And I'm here to help you. Okay, I'm here to help you. Now, you found me on Facebook, Fight CPS, Bob Pace. And I'm broadcasting live on YouTube with using the StreamYard application. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I come on at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then for 1 hour Pacific Standard Time, and then I come on again in the evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There are exceptions to those times. Sometimes I come on earlier. Like say this Thanksgiving, I'm trying to get off early so that I can attend Thanksgiving in the morning hours with the football team. They have a Thanksgiving breakfast. So I'm trying to get off so I would normally broadcast at 8 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. On Friday, it's Friday Night Lights, and I usually attend the games. I'm asking to see if I can leave here at 3 o'clock for the football game. So I want to, excuse me, I want to broadcast at 3, be done by 4, so I have enough time to get to the football game. And um, so I'm hoping on Friday be at 3 o'clock. And then Saturday is Vincent's Davis podcast. So I've been coming in early at 8 unless he has a podcast in the morning. So I don't want to conflict. And then on Sunday I come in at 8 because I have church I like to go to. So I come on early. So those are the times. I'll let you know as it gets closer to them. But I really want to help you all. And with me being on here twice a day, hopefully you get your answers in. Also, they're recorded so you can look at my shows. I have over 700 shows. I've been doing this for over 12 months, for over a year. And I've talked to over 600 some people. And I want to help you all with your CPS case. It's an awful case. It was awful for me and my wife going through it. It was really bad times, the CPS case was. What we didn't know was, unfortunately, a layperson had called in the complaints, the alleged complaints. There's two types of complaints. One are brought by lay people, one are brought by professionals. Professionals are trained and know how to recognize abuse and neglect. Lay people use it sometimes for alternative motives. They want to get something or punish somebody. And it's sad. And in my case, it was. My wife's family, her mother, her father, her 3 sisters, and her brother were all in on it. And they would say ridiculous things that are just not true. We weren't feeding the kids, we weren't bathing the kids, we weren't taking them to school. They were abused. It went on, week after week, and then year after year. It was 5 years of all this. And unfortunately, in 2010, when this all got started, I lost my job through no fault of my own at age 60. I'd already worked 45 years. And by the time I had to get an attorney, because I tried the court-appointed attorney, it didn't work. I'm certainly not going to be an attorney myself. So I hired an attorney, and it took all my savings from my home. I had to sell my home, so I lost my home to CPS. I lost my credit score to CPS. There's everything we lost. My wife and I have been desperately handicapped by what CPS has done. They've also, due retaliation, they kidnapped our daughter. I mean, they told her what to do, and now she's no longer with us. She was told she could emancipate at age 12 in California. She was 12 at the time. So she emancipated. And then on top of all that, that means she divorced mom and dad and her brothers, her 2 brothers, and both grandparents, all the aunts and all the uncles and all the cousins. She's no longer a family. That's sad. That's sad that one of my daughter had to go that route. And she was encouraged, because a child at 12 does not know to do all the things that they did. Not only did the social worker do this, but she also told her to change her name and to seal her birth certificate and get another birth certificate with a new social security card. So she's now, given false information to Social Security. And she got adopted by a foster care people. Anyway, she's 22 now, and we've still not seen her, and sad because Thanksgiving will not be with our family of 6. Apparently, our older daughter is having a Thanksgiving, and invited our sons over, her brothers, and of course, our daughter. Um, but I guess we're not part of it. So that's a hard thing to swallow. Thanksgiving is a time to be thankful and be with families. And I know most of you have gone through a lot there. Now, there's 4 ways you can interact with this podcast. One way is to just be in this room and doing emojis. Like someone's already given me a thumbs up. That's great. That came from Lori. Lori comes in this room all the time. Thank you, Lori. And she's in this room listening. There's some regular people that come in here. You can do other emojis, and you can also send me stars. Please check the box that if you want to follow and then get notifications. There's a box for that. Now, let's say you want to be more active and you want to text a message. All you have to do is text a message about CPS. It has to pertain to CPS. It can be a comment or a question. Please show your first name and show your city or county the case was in and your state. Now, I also like to know about countries because right now we have about 17 countries around the world that have called in and asked for help. Countries do have a problem with the child protection system. That's what I call CPS. And the countries that so far have been Bangladesh, India, the Middle East, and then I've had Africa, several countries in there. I've had Europe, then across the pond, I've had North America, Canada, and then I've had the U.S., all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., have talked to me. Mexico, Central America, South America, and then the Pacific, from the land down under, Australia, and New Zealand. So it's quite a variety, and they've all talked about their CPS case. It's quite remarkable. I've learned a lot about it. It happens everywhere. So put your name of your country along with your province. Now be complete with your CPS case. Try to tell me as much as you can beforehand so we don't have to play ping pong ball back and forth. Now, a third way of interacting with this podcast is to type in, there's actually email to be a guest on this podcast. All you have to do is contact our show producer. Her name is Grace. She works behind the scenes, and I really appreciate her help. You can send an email, one of the 14 shows, either morning or afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever the day of the week, and then she will go ahead and give you the link to get on to podcasts. The link is on the StreamYard application. And then once you have the link, if you fall off, you can get back on again. That link is good for the whole show. And then she'll tell you what you can do and not do on the show. She will help you. Her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. And she will help you all along there. No question about that. Now the fourth way is the call in, and my number now is live. I put my number up at 626-698-0990. We have a second person. We have Lori Hillary now. We have Pam Just Country. Hello there, Pam. And where are you located in this world, and how can we help you? How can we help you, Pam? Glad to meet you and a warm welcome. Now, that number, 626-698-0990, is my office number, and that's where I can be reached. I use Vonage, which is a internet phone application, to talk on it. Now, one thing I would like to point out that if you do call me on the phone and you're on the speakerphone or you're a guest on the podcast, you are actually entitled to a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. That means you get to speak to him free for 15 minutes. Can't knock that. I'll ask you after you do the be the guest or after you speak on my phone, I'll ask you if you want to talk to Mr. Davis. It's a Zoom meeting and it's a one-on-one with him, and he will help you with your case. He will help you with your case. It's only 15 minutes, but it's free. He's the best attorney around. Now, if you want longer time, I have another one that's ticketing across the bottom of my page. And that one's for 30 minutes with Mr. Davis, and that has a cost of $60. There's an email site you go to register and to set up your meeting with Mr. Davis. He'll talk to you for 30 minutes for $60. That's 30 minutes for $6. Just use your credit card. And you go to that link, that website, and register right there. And they'll stay up the whole show there. Oh, okay, Pam, you're just watching. I'm glad you're watching. I hope that if there's a question comes up, you ask me, and I'll try to help you on that question there. Let me see. You're just watching so I can learn anything. Well, yeah, you will learn some things. You'll learn about how awful CPS is and about how important it is to get an attorney. You know what part of the world you're from? I'm trying to get an idea when people call in what they're from there. So, she came up with a question already. Yay, we got our first question tonight. Pam has asked, if a child runs away from the state care, will they be okay when they're 18? Well, when children under the age of 18 are allowed to roam wild with no parental supervision or guidance, they're going to end up being trafficking in the sex industry. They're going to be abused, robbed, hurt, misled. The world is cruel to young children out there. They need parents. So the answer, will it be okay? No. I know her firsthand. Her name is Faye. She comes to my show daily. And she was in and out of foster care 5 different times. She lived out in the street. And she'll tell you that it's not safe out there. She's very fortunate to be alive. She was sex trafficked, and she was raped, and she was abused. So, a lot of times kids are put into foster care and they run away from foster care because it's too horrible. And maybe things at home are too horrible. Now, the word CPS, I call the Child Protection System, but it's a government entity that's a part of social services. It's mandated by Congress, by law, that this social services will have social workers that protect the children from neglect and abuse. Also, if the family is in need of services like food, shelter, clothing, transportation, educational, medical, and even looking for a job, they will help you. That's their whole purpose. Furthermore, if they need to break the family apart because the children are in extreme danger, meaning there's domestic violence going on and they're caught up and they get hurt, then they will be taken from the parents and placed into foster care. Ideally, you want them not in foster care, you want them with family, friends, or relatives. While you get the problems resolved that affected them to remove your children. A lot of you do have hiccups, and that's okay. No one's perfect. You aren't born with a manual of how to raise children, how to date, or how to do anything. There's none of those life skills anymore. To tell you how old I am, you probably not heard, but Dr. Spock used to talk about adolescence and about children and what to do and how parents are, but that was way back in the 50s. See, I was 60 when I got involved in CPS, and it was a terrible experience. I had worked already 45 years, and unfortunately lost my job through no fault of my own. And it was sad because what happened is that um, I was tricked, misled, and I did not know about CPS. I did not know about them. CPS has really gone bad. Oh, Pam is from Kentucky. Welcome, Pam. There's another girl from Kentucky that I'm going to call in a few minutes to see if she'd like to talk to us. She's on here all the time. Well, welcome. As I say, Pam, I know how bad Kentucky is. It's at the bottom of the pit. There is one of the worst places that CPS or police are involved in. Very corrupt state. Now, I have 5 rules actually. I already talked about the first one. You need to get an attorney. And some of you may say, well, I have a court appointed attorney. Well, the court appointed attorney won't have time for your case. They usually have a caseload of 30 or more clients. So they don't have time. And on that, they're only criminal lawyers. They're not family, juvenile dependency lawyers. And so they can't fight your case that well. They're going to go with the flow. They don't have the time and energy to fight it. And so you're going to lose your children using a court appointed. So rule 1 is to get that attorney. And I already have an attorney here you can talk to, but if you're out there looking for them, it's 2 important questions. 1, when you call the law firm, ask if they have attorneys that have fought CPS, that are trained in dependency juvenile family law. Furthermore, ask them if there's been any of those same attorneys that have brought lawsuits and fought CPS and won with civil lawsuits. The answer to those 2 questions are yes, you found the right spot. All you need to do is fine tune it to the attorney that makes it with you. Your chemistry is so important with attorneys. Okay, we got another comment here by Pam. Yeah, that's true. CPS will lie on you. They do that all the time. They lie all the time. And then Pam says, very bad state. Yes, we know that Kentucky is a bad state. We know that entirely. So try to get yourself a good attorney. Faye and I were just talking this morning. Sounds like it's almost best if you can't afford an attorney, fight it on your own. Because when you get the court-appointed attorney, you can't speak in court. You give that right over to the attorney. So you may want to fight your case in court. But it's best to do it with the attorney. Now, rule number 2 is a notebook. Organize all your documents into one place, a 3-ring binder, stuff it full of notebook papers, put in subject dividers. And one of the most important documents they have in there is your timeline incident log. That's where you start your first line with the date and time and location and the people involved with the incident. Then you do a second line and you make it a summary of what the incident was about. And then you want to do the third line about the outcome, what happened, what transpired. And the incident log will be so important to you from a year from now, 2 years from now, because you won't remember everything. You will not remember everything. Rule number 3 is the important one because you do not want to talk to social workers and you certainly don't want to let them in your home. Too many bad things have happened with police or social workers allowed to go in the home. People have been killed point blank. That's why you don't answer the door. And they're going to bang, yell, and loud. You just keep quiet. Now, if they have a warrant, they can enter, but you guys see the warrant. And the way to see the warrant is tell them to slide underneath the door or show it up at the window. Because you don't want to let them in unless they have a legitimate warrant. You don't want to talk to them. If you meet them outside, you just say that you need to get a hold of your attorney and you'll have that meeting with them. Don't meet at their office. Don't meet in your home. Meet at a neutral place like McDonald's or Starbucks out in the public. You can document everything when you do that. You can document everything. So whatever you do, do not talk to them because anything you do, they'll use it against you. They'll use it against you. If you also, there's things called medical trafficking, and that's where you take your kids into the urgent care or the emergency room late at night, and you suddenly are losing your kids because the social workers are there and they misconstrue something or say something. Do not give them your child. They have to have a warrant, and they're not going to have a warrant if they show up or anything. They're always trying to get more. It's all about money. That's why they want to get the kids. They want that money. In my case, in Orange County, they got $20,000 per child per month. That was for 3 years. That's a lot of money. And that's how much they were making off. There's something called the incentive that Bill Clinton passed in 1997. And it's where social workers are given money if they get the kids adopted into foster care right away. See, foster care is not a good thing because they're supposed to take care of families, but they don't. They abuse the children and their own children, bully the children. And from experience, it's not been a really good thing. Foster care is a quick way, cheap way to adopt a child. And it should not be about adoption. It should not be about adoption. So you got to be careful there with the foster care and medical trafficking. Also, if you're having a baby, don't let them take your baby. They will sometimes do that because they heard you tested positive or something. So be careful. Know your rights. They have to have a warrant. They're not going to have a warrant on that day that they happen to come and talk to you. So ask the hospital staff to get them out of your room. They're not supposed to come in there. Now, rule number 4 is an easy one. It's about the internet. You need to research it for at least spend 60 hours about your case. It's very important that you format your word of choice correctly. You want to say the city, and if it's a small city like Athens, Georgia, you put Athens and Atlanta, Georgia. Then you put the letters CPS. And then you describe what you're looking for. looking for the ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978, or you're looking for a 388 motion, or maybe you're looking at how to file grievances, all those things there. So now we have someone else here called Majesty. I think it's called Majesty. Majesty, welcome to the room. She has said, God bless you and keep you, Mr. Bob. Well, thank you, Majesty. I appreciate that because I'm hoping that I can help these people out there. I don't know where you're from, but thank you very much. And then Pam says they need to close CPS places down. Well, they need supervisors. They need to make a lot of changes and rules. There's a woman from Georgia named Nancy Schaefer. She was in her 70s and she was murdered. And she was an advocate about CPS. And she wanted to tear CPS down. I think it should stay, but they need to have supervisors. They need to have a board of directors. And they got to have so that, they're governed at the local level, at the counties, then at the state, and at the federal. There's need to be accountability, and it isn't done like that. So we need to work in the system to make it better. You need to work in the system to make it better, Pam. And Majesty, thank you so much for being here for us every day and every night, Mr. Bob. Well, thank you, Majesty. Yeah, I'm on here twice a day. That's 14 shows a week. That's over 700 shows. I've been doing this for a year. And yes, it's a lot of people I've talked to. And I've heard that things I do say do help people. I'm not an attorney, but I'm a family man. I have 42 years of marriage, and I have 6 children. And I want to help you all. I really care what happens to you. I feel for you, what you go through. Let's see. Majesty says, may our Lord Jesus Christ bless you so much to protect you. Thank you. Bless you too. Thank you very much. We have to have a faith in God dealing with CPS. There's no question about that. So as they say, you put in the city, the state, and then you put the letters CPS, and after that you put in what you're looking for, like the policies and manual or the ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act. And you'll find so much information. Study your case, spend 60 hours. And lastly, Rule 5 is to make sure that you have your important documents in an envelope or folder with you in that notebook. I'm talking about your medical records of your children, your shot records, their birth certificates, their social security cards, your marriage certificates, your department motor vehicle, driver's license, your shot cards, any medical issues that you have yourself or with your children should be in there. The school grade reports, all the stuff that should be in there. Make copies, put it in a folder envelope, have it with your notebook. That's really important because they're going to try to say your husband is presumed father, but not the father. All you do is show the birth certificate. They do so much things to make it really sad for you. So I'm glad to have Pam from Kentucky, Majesty. I don't know where you're from, but thank you so much for coming in here. I think I covered the 5 rules. I talked about how to participate in here, and I talked a little bit about my case. I think it's time that we maybe talk to one of our regular listeners in here, and we'll see if Faye is able to talk and help out with the podcast. She's from Kentucky, Richmond, Kentucky, and she had a terrible time in foster care growing up. Her mother was terrible to her. Mother reported her when she had children, and she had to fight. And she lost her little girl, 8-month-old girl, to adoption. But she's got her son, her special needs son, who's in his 20s, and she's trying to get guardianship. But he's a special needs child. He's a special needs child. Okay. Now let's see if Faye's available. Now again, my phone number is up if you want to call in, and or if you want to text in another question, I will really help you. Well, I'm calling Faye right now from Richmond, Kentucky. Single mom. She has her cats and dogs and her son. She lives a very simple life, but she's a loving mom.
Yes, hello. You have reached my mail. I'm unavailable to take your call right now. If you could leave.
Hold on a second here. She might be on the phone.
Yes, hello. You.
Well, she's not answering, so I guess something came up. Maybe we could um, try her on her other number here too. It might work better. Okay, Majdi is a mother. Mothers are very special people from Tacoma, California. And I want to again welcome Majesty. Well, I'm not having too luck here with Faye tonight. She was on this morning to me and been so. There's another person, Natalie from West Hollywood, that is pretty good about talking about things. So see if you bring her on. And so maybe she can help us there. Well, we'll see if Natalie is available from West Hollywood.
call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 213660185 is not available. The mailbox is full and can...
Okay. Well, we're not doing very much luck tonight, so I tried to get some people to talk to. I think what we're going to do is we're going to end up talking about Core's Digest. That's a question and answer thing that's pretty good. And it talks about CPS, unless someone has another question or anything on there. So we're going to do that there too. So now what I've done with Core's Digest is that I find a question about CPS. It's I don't know how I did that, but sometimes it happens. With Core's Digest, is what I do is that I look at a question that might be pertaining to one of the CPS questions that we may have here. And let's see what we have here. Okay, here's Core's Digest. Here's a question here. Let's see how we look at this one here. Here's a question that's pretty interesting. Why don't foster families treat adopted kids like biological kids? Now, there was an answer here by Amy who answered this question. She said, if a child is a foster kid, there are many state-imposed limits have been stated above. They can be photographed in family photos that are going to be distributed to they're going to be distributed to anyone. A foster parent couple I'm friends with, if we run into them at the store, can't say, this is our foster son, Andy. They have to say, Andy is staying with us for a while. But they can talk to us in general about being foster parents. If a family goes out of state, the foster children often are not allowed to go along. If the kids are in foster care because of benign issues like the parent's illness or short-term incarceration for a nonviolent crime, for example, the parent is asked for consent on a lot of issues because the foster parents are, as another poster said, basically 24/7 babysitters. If the parents were abusive and are at the early stages of the hoops they have to go through to get their children back, the social worker usually calls the shots for going on vacation or changing schools or really anything. The foster parents don't decide these things. Usually the kid has to be in public school, even if the other children in private school or homeschool, for example. That's an interesting answer there. Let's see if we can find another one here. Here's a question about the police. This is a question: can the police serve a warrant in another county? Well, Jim answered the question, and this is what his answer was. I was stopped for rolling through a stop sign on my bicycle. The police officer said I had a no bail warrant out for my arrest. I was handcuffed, placed into a police car, and driven to the Santa Clara County Jail, that's in California, for processing. My bicycle was left by the side of the road, never to be seen again. The warrant has been confirmed by the department, but when the jail personnel went to verify it, they could not find it to anywhere. To wit, the warrant did not exist. Computer area? Who knows? Being the person I am, I said nothing whatsoever to the police officer or jail officials. Refused to sign anything, been fingerprinted, mugshot, etc., since it was a no bail warrant. Very serious. They processed me quickly. I was placed in a cell solo. Roughly 6 hours later, one of the folks from the DA's office came over, had me released, and apologized for the mix-up. We have no idea where that warrant came from, he said. We're very sorry. I told him it was okay. I got a free lunch, and my homeowner's insurance bought me a brand new bike. Well, that was a happy ending, I guess. That was an interesting question answers. Here's another one. How did Judge so the judge's relationships with them grow and change with time, just like any long-running professional relationships. Some lawyers and judges get along well, some are just professional. Most judges I know don't like to see a new face, but I'm sure that the person to a person, clients don't realize just how central these relationships are to the practice. Ethics and my legal knowledge. I don't know why I keep getting removed, but here's another question here. Unfortunately, someone ever unjustifiably reported you to Child Protection Services. What's the outcome? Well, Angela answered that, and this is what she said. She said, yes, there was my neighbor who reported me to CPS, and because I wouldn't give her any more money for her bills, she thought that by having my child taken from me she'd get to take him and get his income. He's autistic and ADH and gets SSI. So there's a layperson who's construing, wow, that's bad. It didn't work like that. You see, we knew they were coming, so we cleaned the house so it was spotless. They came by, asked questions, asked if he was in school, and they report that he wasn't going to school. And could they see his grades? I told him he was virtually schooled, powered through K through 12, and his grades were excellent and had for the past 2 years. Then they asked to see the house. Okay. They asked my roommates, my husband, and my son's questions, and they said we had to get rid of 4 of our cats because we were overcrowded. They gave me a paper that said they would continue monitoring the situation, signed it, had us sign it, and they left. 2 weeks later, they're back out at our house after calling. We mopped the floor before they showed up, and they asked my son, "Do you feel safe and do you feel like you're being abused?" My son answered, "I'm in class right now. This is interrupting my schooling. No, I'm not being abused. I'm fed 3 meals a day. I'm loved by my parents. Can I go now?" I said, "Be nice, but get back to your class," because the attitude of a 16-year-old. The CPS lady said, "I still need his grades to close the case." So I sent her the grades via an email as my printer was acting up and not wanting to connect to my computer. They said thanks and left. During this time, my neighbor was being evicted for non-payment of rent, so they got kicked out in October. Nothing done with the house until mid-November. My mother-in-law and roommate's mother-in-law moved in the neighbor's house in December. We were collecting the mail from next door per the landlord's request. The mailbox fell or something, and their mail was stuck in our mailbox. I opened the mail from our mailbox and got a letter from CPS saying, "Your case is closed." There was a similar looking envelope to mine, so thinking maybe they had additional information for me. I opened it, not realizing it was addressed to my neighbor next door. It said, "The allegations you report were found out not to be true." I saw red. I was beyond pissed. After the help I had offered, after everything we'd done for this woman and her deadbeat husband, she had audacity to try to have my son taken from me, all because I told her no. So it all worked out in the end. She is no longer our friend, and we keep the house spotless just in case. So I keep a clean house. I clean more than normal because CPS was coming, and they can and have nitpicked over a speck of dust on the TV screen. So I dusted, wiped down the walls and ceilings, mopped the floors with bleach, made sure my entire house, down to the knobs on our cupboards, was sparkling clean, so I have no excuse to take my son. Yes, they do send out encounters to persons making the accusations. At least in North Carolina, they do. Can't say for other places. Wow. See, that's the problem about lay people. Lay people are notorious for using CPS to better their cause, to either alienate or something in there. So that is being said there. Hold on 1 second here. I just saw a message come in. Okay. Hopefully I'm not coming in and out. I still need to have my computer clean. Let me adjust it here. My show producer says I'm coming in and out, so let me adjust it here. If that's better. I think sometimes when I read and look down at my notes, it causes me to come in and out. Hopefully that is better. But thank you, Faye. Thank you, Grace, for giving me the information. We have a new person in the room, and I want to read the last one from Majesty. She says, "I prayed to the Father that all people in our country know about Attorney Vincent and his channel, and that they're careful and follow his advice." That's very kind of you, Majesty. That's really, really kind. And we have a new person in here from Felicia Nicole Alcarez. Welcome, Felicia. They took my kids over a year ago because my husband spanked his daughter with a belt, and they had me jump through hoops when I was at work, and it wasn't my kid. Wow, that sounds pretty bad there. Corporate punishment is kind of archaic. We use timeouts now. Now, Majesty has come on and said, I have a question, Mr. Bob. Okay. Let's see what the question is from Majesty. What happens when the children become 18? Do they let them go back to their families? When they become 18, they can do what they want to do. Now, if there's special needs, they're going to try to hang on to those kids because they get extra money. Also, they're going to lie to those kids. But when they turn 18, they're kicked out right away. So they can come back to their families if they so choose to do so. Mr. Bob, are you going and coming in the image and audio? Something is happening. I'm sorry. There may have been a time, but I think I fixed the problem. My show producer told me that. Thank you, Majesty. We can't hear your end and yourself. I think I fixed it. I think what happened is that I accidentally removed myself. And my computer does need cleaning. And I have had yet to set a time because when I clean it, my link to my podcast gets erased. So I still need to do that. Let me see this last comment from Majesty. Master Bob, what happens to your children when they're 18? Do you let them come back home? Yes, they do let them come back. They're adults, and they can do what they want to do. Now, if there's special needs, they're going to try to keep them on the system. So that child should ask to see his parents or be back with his parents. So I'm glad you asked that question, Majesty. I'm glad to ask you on that. Now, I have about 3 minutes left. You can still call in 626-698-0990, or you can text me a message and I'll try to answer as best I can. I want to thank Majesty from Tacoma, California for calling in. Nice to meet you, Felicity. I don't know where you're from, but that was great. Majesty, thank you. You're from Tacoma. Right. That's Majesty sit there. Pam is thank you for coming in. And I really appreciate that, Pam. So thank you for all my guests tonight. Thank you for all the emojis. And God bless you all. I'll be on again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we'll talk more. I hope that all of you, if you have a question, that you come back and talk to me tomorrow morning in the podcast. And I do apologize if I seem to be fading in and out. I'm trying to adjust my screen, and I don't know why it is in there. But anyway, God bless you all, and please keep fighting for your kids. Don't give up. There will be a solution to it in the end. Now, I'm going to turn this over to Vincent Davis, who's going to talk a few minutes. So this is Bob Pace signing off. Oh, boy. Somehow I picked the wrong thing. Okay. This is Bob Pace signing off. And you're going to hear from Vincent Davis.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.